En cambio, por dentro, sí que somos fractales. El cuerpo es una máquina que necesita mucho mantenimiento. Los nutrientes tienen que llegar a cada una de las células y la estructura fractal es la más efectiva y la más económica para transportar sustancias por el interior. Las redes neuronales, los bronquios o el sistema digestivo tienen una estructura fractal, pero el más impresionante es el sistema circulatorio. Los vasos sanguíneos que van de la aorta hasta los capilares se ramifican y dividen. Llegan a todos los puntos suministrando uno de los bienes más valiosos para el cuerpo, la sangre. Y todo esto sin ocupar demasiado espacio. Aunque venas y arterias cubren todo nuestro cuerpo, la superficie que ocupan no es más del 5%.
The rhythms of the heart. Something that Boston cardiologist Ari Goldberger has been studying his entire professional life.
The notion of sort of the human body as a machine goes back through the tradition of Newton and the machine-like universe. So somehow we're machines, we're mechanisms. The heartbeat is this timekeeper. Galileo was reported to have used his pulse to time the swinging of a pendular motion. So that all fit in with the idea that the normal heartbeat is like a metronome.
But when Goldberger and his colleagues analyzed data from thousands of people, they found the old theory was wrong.
This is where I showed the heartbeat time series of a healthy subject. And as you can see, the heartbeat is not constant over time. It fluctuates, and it fluctuates a lot. For example, in this case, it fluctuates between 60 beats per minute and 120 beats per minute.
The patterns looked familiar to Goldberger, who happened to have read Benoit Mandelbrot's book.
When you actually plotted out the intervals between heartbeats, what you saw was very close to the rough edges of the mountain ranges that were in Mandelbrot's book. You blow them up, expand them, you actually see that there are more of these wrinkles upon wrinkles. The healthy heartbeat, it turned out, had this fractal architecture. People said, this isn't cardiology, we do cardiology if you want to get funded. But it turns out it is cardiology.
Goldberger found that the healthy heartbeat has a distinctive fractal pattern, a signature that one day may help cardiologists spot heart problems sooner. Biophysicist Peter Burns and his colleagues see fractals as a practical tool, a way to develop mathematical models that might help in diagnosing cancer earlier.
Detecting very small tumors is one of the big challenges in medical imaging.
Burns knew that one early sign of cancer is particularly difficult to see, a network of tiny blood vessels that forms with the tumor. Conventional imaging techniques like ultrasound aren't powerful enough to show them.
We need to be able to see structures which are just a few tenths of a millionth of a meter across. When it comes to a living patient, we don't have the tools to be able to see these tiny blood vessels.
But ultrasound does provide a very good picture of the overall movement of blood. Is there any way, Burns wondered, that images of blood flow could reveal the hidden structure of the blood vessels? To find out, Burns and his colleagues used fractal geometry to make a mathematical model.
If you have a mathematical way of analyzing a structure, you can make a model. What fractals do is they give you some simple rules by which you can create models, and by changing some of the parameters of the model, we can change how the structure looks.
The model showed the flow of blood in the kidney, first through normal blood vessels, and then through vessels feeding a cancerous tumor. Burns discovered that the two kinds of networks had very different fractal dimensions.
Instead of being neatly bifurcating, looking like a nice elm tree, the tumor vasculature is chaotic and tangled and disorganized, looking more like a mistletoe bush.
And the flow of blood through these tangled vessels looked very different than in a normal network. A difference doctors might one day be able to detect with ultrasound.
saving grace was the feeling that it was a heart that he was stealing. Oh, he was ready to impress, and the fierce excitement, the eyes are bright, he couldn't wait to get away. And I bet that Juliet was